Hello, friends and family, or whoever else may be watching this. I am pleased today to be filming here with my friend Milner Kasabiwa. He is visiting here from Zambia, and this is his third time to the United States. He trained when I worked at the Heart Village. He came to the Heart Village, so we lived together there for 4 months. And then last summer, he came and stayed here at the farm for a month or so. And now he's back. He's staying at another farm right now. But one of the reasons we're filming this for two reasons. One is that I am really trying to make an effort to help raise some funds for Pastor Milner to receive and take back with him to Zambia, because I really believe what he's doing in his community is very valuable, and the place he's chosen to serve is not where he's from, but he chooses to live in a very, very remote, underdeveloped community, and because of that, sacrifices a lot and has even had times with no food, with lack of access to basic things like health care, and all that is a choice he's doing to serve the community that he's chosen to live in. So I'm really asking people, if you have any money to contribute, even a few dollars can go a long way. Like, how much will be one day's wages for somebody in the community there? Like, how many US dollars would somebody work for a day?
Well, in our country?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe for a day, about $40.
$40
Yeah.
US?
Yeah, 30.
30. Okay. So, a relatively small amount goes a very long way in that setting, is the point. And what we're going to be talking about today is some experiences he's had with new farming strategies. And I really like this model of just supporting people directly that are making an impact. And I think this is a way that development happens in a very organic way, is that people such as Milner learn new strategies and do their own experimentation, and then farmers are coming to people like him for advice, and it's a great way to help the community there. So if you want to take a second and introduce yourself and say a little bit about your work in the area you're in.
Oh yes, yeah. My name's Miona Kasavila. I'm ordained minister. I'm Reverend Miona Kasavila.
Okay.
I'm Reverend. Yes. So I am a person coming from a good town in Zambia. That is maybe the third biggest city in our country, Zambia. That is Ndola. It's really big, but I'm not staying there. I'm serving somewhere in a very, very, very remote place. Why? It is because this place did not have any people to take the gospel that side. So I thought it was good for me to go to such a place and take the word of God that side, so that people can receive Christ and they can be saved. So this is why I'm that side. I'm serving in a very bad conditions. It's really remote, no access to many things, but I just thought, no, let me just go and save that side. Yeah, because there's no one accepting to go and save in such an area. But I thought, let me go myself and do the will of God. I thought it was a calling for me from God that I should go and save, even in such a bad place like that one, where there are even a lot of animals, all kinds of animals are there. Elephants, buffaloes, etc., etc.
So what are some of the basic challenges that people face in the community there? Like,
Yeah.
and how far of a journey is it to go to the place?
Yeah. This place, when somebody wants to go to the nearest town, he has to walk about 3 days, carrying their food on the head, going like.
And that's the
people in the past.
closest place to buy anything, medicine or anything.
Yeah, if you want to go and buy medicine, there's no place around. People have to walk to access those things from such a place, such a distance. they have to cover that. Anyway, there are some people that do small trading. They go, they buy, they bring in the village, and they sell. They go for a week. The second week they are back with the products for selling.
But so some of the problems faced there are like malnutrition and hunger at times. What other kind of issues do you see? Problems like that do you see in the community?
Yeah. These children are not stunted. They are stunted. They are have malnutrition, bad feed, lack of nutritious foods. So and a lot of death to children. That is,
So the main reason we're talking today is that we wanted to talk some about some new strategies that he's been using in his fields to improve his own yield. And this year, what's special is that there's been a big community interest in some of these new methods. So I thought that mentioning some of the issues and that the funds we're trying to raise, basically my idea is that Milner needs to be well cared for so that he can be of service to the community. So he's trying to send his kids to get formal education, which is a financial constraint. And it's people like that, like his own kids, are going to go and receive training and contribute to the development of the country. And I just really like this idea of directly supporting people that are making an impact in a place like Zambia. So that's my idea here. But we're going to talk about conservation farming and what's also called foundations for farming or farming God's way, depending on who's saying it. So this technique is something that's been promoted mostly in Africa amongst smallholder farmers. So a very typical thing throughout the continent of Africa is very much like what his community does. The average person will farm 1 hectare or half?
Yeah. Some go to 1 hectare, 1.5 hectare, 2 acres, 1 acre. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So a hectare is what's used in most of the world. That's 2.5 acres in the U.S.
Oh yes. Yeah. In our country, we use hectares and limas.
Okay.
So if a hectare has 4 limas, so people they farm maybe 2 limas, 1 hectare, 1.5 hectares.
And in this situation, the staple food is maize, corn. And so people are growing the maize that they're going to eat. And a lot of the traditional methods result in not enough food produced a lot of times. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us some about what might be some of the traditional methods that are used to prepare the fields or in maize?
Yeah, the fields, it's like... the way of preparation traditionally is they till the land. They tilling the land
with a hoe or with a
hoe, mostly with a hoe, loosening the ground. After that, then they make holes. After making holes, they plant and they wait for rain, and then the rain comes and germinates and grows, but does not perform very well.
Is there burning?
Yeah. The reason is, when they collect their food from the fields, they burn the fields.
Burn.
Yeah, they burn the fields.
So burn.
To them, it's keeping the fields unburnt. It's dirty, so they burn the fields.
So burn and then till or plow.
They burn, they plow,
and then plant.
Yeah, and then plant. Yes.
So the years ago it was called Farming God's Way, and then that broke off and also became Foundations for Farming. Mm-hmm. Same ideas, different name. There was some conflict over trying to say this is God's way, same idea though. And then also in more secular scientific literature, this same set of strategies has been called conservation agriculture. Mm. So you were exposed to these ideas training at the Heart Village?
Yeah. It was a blessing. for me to come to heart.
Hmm.
I really count it a blessing. Why? Because I've seen change in my harvesting of crop, what I'm doing back in Zambia. And especially this year, my harvest was amazing. People were surprised because of doing foundation for farming or conservation farming. Yeah.
So did you first hear about, do you remember where you first heard? Was it at Hart or was it at Echo or in class, or where did you first learn about?
I learned foundation for farming at the Hart.
Okay.
And then
was that with class with Danny?
Yeah, in class with Danny.
Okay.
In class with Danny, yeah.
So
And also at Echo there was some lessons similar to what we already had learned at the Hart.
So
yeah.
Can you explain to people what's the basic system that you use in Foundations for Farming, and then how does it differ from the traditional method?
Yeah. In Foundation for Farming, one thing that we learned is not burning the field. Don't let fire pass through your field. So this is what exactly I'm doing. I don't burn my field. After I harvest, I do it clean, slash, and let everything in the field, and it becomes mulch in the field. This is what I do. I don't burn. Then, secondly, I do it standard.
At a high standard.
At high standard,
Yeah.
yes. And I prepare my field before the rains come. This is what I do. Yeah. Because what I learned is that when I put mulch, when the rain comes, it soaks very well in the soil. It doesn't immediately come and run off from the field. No. So it sinks into the ground. Whether the rain is not sufficient that year, not enough, with mulch, there's no problem. Because water is retained in the soil.
So in the burned fields, will you see a lot of the first rain will just run off because
Yes,
the soil's so
yes,
hard on top?
Yes, yeah, people with burned fields, the first water is gone. But in my field, the first water is retained in the ground.
So you can get out and plant sooner.
Yes, and my germination, what happens is, before my other fields have not germinated, my field has germinated because of the mulch that is put in the field. Yeah, there's good germination, and usually in our country, maybe it may rain today and it will take 2 weeks, no rain. Yeah, my crop is going to survive. Other crops are not surviving.
So sometimes they come up and then they wither. Because
they die.
Yeah,
they die from the sun, and yeah.
So when you say at high standard, another component of the Foundations for Farming system is using string and planting on a very particular spacing.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about that?
Yes. We use strings, and we put measurements on the string, and we follow those measurements on digging of holes, and we dig the hole standard, like a cube. Yeah, it goes like that very well, and distance of 60 centimeters from one station to another station, 60 centimeters, and in each hole, we have to plant 3 grains, and then this is what we do. This is what I did. 60 centimeters between plant, and 75 centimeters between rows. Just like that.
So before doing Foundations for Farming, will you just make holes kind of where you feel is right?
No.
Or how would you do before?
Before foundation for farming?
Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. We just did
Just
it
kind of
anyhow.
however.
Even if there is no string to follow any line, you just plant like that.
So what you're doing is when you do them at this particular spacing, it's very scientific that the highest yield over a square foot can be from that spacing. So it's like a machine in the United States is planted perfectly.
Yes,
so
this is what we are doing. And with me, the same hole that I've made is the same hole, the same place that I'm going to use even the following year. I'll use the same.
So what do you do? The hole. Let's explain the hole. So the idea is you make these holes and they're on a grid, and then you put fertilizer, manure, compost directly into that hole.
Yeah, this is what I do. What I do is, or what we do is, in that hole we usually first put compost. If I don't have compost, then I have to look for manure and bury a bit before I put the grains there. I put compost,
like a handful.
Yeah, a handful compost. Then put some grain, and then bury. Yeah.
So in the traditional method, what you used to do, would you collect manure and just scatter? Or how
sometimes we couldn't even do with manure. Just plant. Without any manure, without anything. The next is just weeding.
So the idea with the hole is that the seed germinates, and then there's good fertility right where the seed is planted, because you've put that manure right
there.
Yes.
And this is the reason why the following year we use the same hole, because what I've observed is that the first time I had good harvest than the traditional way. I had good harvest, but the following year, using the same hose, I could see development, improvement on the previous year.
Because you have residue from last year still in that hole.
Yes. So every year, instead of going down, my yield going down, every year my yield is going up, because this hole is getting rich all the time with fertility.
Okay, so you put the manure in, and then will you add anything else to the field through the season?
Yeah. First I do manure, then at knee high, I had to put fertilizer.
You put like
for
urea or something?
Yeah, for urea. Yes.
Diammonium phosphate fertilizer.
So that I can have good carbon.
Yeah. And then what other components are there to it? So very good weeding practices, or what else goes with the system?
Okay. What I'm doing right now, instead of weeding, I do spray.
Okay.
Yeah, I do spray instead of weeding, and then
So you use herbicide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have that, you would just do normal weeding.
Yeah, I'll do normal weeding, not digging too much, just a bit. Yeah, because when you dig too much, when you weed, then the soil is loose, and when the rains come, some nutrients for the crop goes. So just a bit on top. Yeah.
Great. So if I understand right, you told me this was your best maize harvest this year ever.
Yeah.
You've been farming how many years?
So many years.
50 years?
Not 50 years. Maybe
40 years.
Maybe 30 years.
30 years.
Yes,
a long time. Okay.
Yes.
And this was your best yield ever this year?
Yes. Especially in this place where I'm serving. People don't usually have good harvests.
Worse harvests here than at home.
Yeah. So this year where I'm serving in Nabwalya was the best yield
that you've had.
Yeah.
And how much maize did you get?
Okay, I did a 2 lima field.
Half a hectare?
No, yeah, half a hectare.
Half a hectare. So that's like
half a hectare.
1.5
acre
maybe,
or
something like that.
Yeah,
okay.
Something like that. But amazingly, I got 70 by 50 kg bags of
50 kg sacks.
Yeah.
And you got 70 of those?
Yes. 50 kg by 70 bags.
And how many of those will you need, or how many people are you feeding in your house right now?
There are many. We are about 7.
7. And
Yeah.
so how many of those bags do you need just for your own food?
For my own food, maybe I can just need about 15 or so, but I don't do that. I keep a lot. I'm a pastor, and
To
being
help.
in a place like that, I need to help some other people.
Okay.
Yeah, to show that kind of heart of giving.
So say you need 15 for yourself,
Yeah.
and then you will have after that 55 bags left over, which
Yeah,
you could
yes.
share with people that in need, or you can sell.
Already, I called my wife that other day. There were some boys, because there are a lot of animals, and so there were some boys who were coming to be as guards, guarding our field, protecting our field from the animals.
Okay.
Yes, so these people were given some.
You
bags
pay
of
them
money.
in the grain.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But the point is, you grew 3-4 times what you actually need to eat.
Hmm?
You grow 3 times what you actually need.
Yeah.
How many bags were you used to get before this method?
All these years, I was going up to 12,
Really?
10. Yes.
Your yield went up 5, 6, 7 times.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So he was telling me this. That's what I was amazed. And then also you said this was a drought year.
Yeah.
So other people in the community had almost no harvest at all.
Almost nothing.
Like
This
how
time-
many bags?
This time I'm talking some, they don't have food for their consumption. Up to next year, they don't have. Yeah, that's the situation.
So you
I asked someone had harvested about 3 bags. 3 bags only, because there was that big drought in our country.
and you got your best yield ever.
Yes.
It's just amazing.
Yes, amazing.
So this is why I'm excited to film this video. Is these techniques have the ability to save lives. People are not getting the food they need in this community. And so from what I understand is that you have been trying to tell people that this is you've been learning yourself from doing, and also trying to tell people that this is a good idea.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been that much interest until this year. So can you tell us about that?
Yes. Yeah, this year, because all the people around, I'm living at the center of the village. I'm at the center of the village. So whoever is passing by is seeing my field. When there is no rain and people are in need of rain and having a good crop, but their crops are suffering. But passing by my field is flourishing. My field is green, good stems, big stems, cobbing. So people were very surprised. I was trying to bring them close some time back, but they couldn't pay attention to that. But this time, and we had what we call in the village a field day, farmers' field day. So the agriculturist selected my farm to be a place where people come and gather for field day, so that they can at least learn something. How did I get this harvest? So, why was my field looking so good?
How many people came to the field?
There were more than 100. Yeah, more than 100.
All local people?
Yeah, yes, just local people, local farmers. Yeah, they came more than 100, and I taught them foundation for farming or conservation farming, how to do it, no burning, mulching, doing it at standard, being very faithful to what is needed in this farming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very encouraged to have somebody that I worked with years ago, and then to hear tangible results like this means a lot to me.
Yeah. Thank you.
I remember you were here in 2019.
Yes, yes.
He had done a little plot experimenting, and I can see in my head you making the little holes.
Yes, yes.
And then to imagine that you went home and did half of a hectare. So did you start with a small plot to test it at home, or did you go home and do your field?
Yeah, for the past years I've been doing a smaller portion.
More and more.
But extending. And this year I did a tulima and something, I'm sure. A tulima and something. Yeah.
So the first season, the section you did differently, you saw about was much better.
Yes.
Okay, more.
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
So hopefully other people in the community will try and see the same thing.
Yeah. There's one person in the church who got trained to me. He also had very good yield as well.
Okay, so you already have one disciple.
Yes, already I've got one, though his field was somewhere in the
middle.
Yeah.
Because you see with this technique, the enhancement of the field is slow, but over years you see improvement.
Yes.
So people may not get the dramatic results on the first season, but maybe on the second or third, you start to really.
When I was doing it, people passing by were laughing, seeing my mouth. To them, it was dirty. Yeah. Now they saw what dirty does.
Is there a concern of snakes hiding in there?
Yeah, some yeah.
Yeah,
snakes can hide.
Okay, but people were laughing, and then.
Yeah, they were laughing, but at the end they were surprised.
Wow.
To find that that's the best way of farming. Yeah.
That's great. So I think this is a cool story, and probably all over the country and other countries too. There's people learning, and then they go and maybe in 20 years this will be the norm. People.
Yeah, I think so.
Because having your demonstration site right in the center where people walk by was, I think, seeing is believing for people.
Yeah.
And then they're coming to you needing food.
Yes. Yeah, so they know this kind of farming is the best. So I'm sure I'm expecting a lot of people who do the way I'm doing. This is what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Because they saw with their own eyes. Yeah, sometimes in villages like this, very remote places, they learn by seeing the outcome.
Yeah.
You just tell them they don't understand, but they come to learn when they see. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll be keeping in touch. I'm actually hoping to go visit if I can in the next few years, and we'll be keeping in touch. And I'm very curious to hear if people are going to adapt this to their own fields, what the results will be. Can you tell us, what do you think the science of why this helps? Like, what do you think the main thing is? It's keeping the soil covered, or the organic matter improvement, or what do you think is really increasing the yields?
I think that's organic matter improves. Yes, because there's no direct sunlight to the ground to destroy the organic in the soil. That helps a crop to do well. Yeah, it's not being destroyed by the direct sun.
And that's the burning.
One. Then two, evaporation doesn't occur very much. It rains today,
and still there.
The water is not evaporating, and the crop is having sufficient supply of water. Yeah, and also, what do I say? I'm sure there are so many.
Well, maybe the pocket where the corn is getting better every year, that may, and the proper density.
Yes.
All of it, really.
Oh yes.
Do you think that if farmers just pick up like certain aspects of it, they may see increases even if they don't do the whole thing? Like, say they don't burn and they leave mulch, but then some of the other things they don't do the same. Could they still see a benefit, do you think?
Some benefit?
Say somebody else says, I won't burn and I'll leave mulch, but then maybe they don't space the same, or you think they still may see some benefit, or do you think...
Yeah, of course. they may see some benefit because I remember before I learned a foundation for farming, in my field, some places could not be bent properly. You know what was happening? That portion, I was surprised, but I couldn't just learn. Getting surprised seeing that this part is doing well, and no much of weeds. You know, there's no much of
So
weed.
where the fire wouldn't go, you will have less weeds.
Yes, yes, and even in when you mulch, you don't have much weed as people who have bent. Yeah, it's like the weed don't germinate.
Because the soil's covered and,
Yes,
and the seeds aren't so exposed to germinate.
Not exposed to germinate, and what happens is, you know, when it doesn't it's not exposed to favorable conditions, it starts rotting. When it starts rotting, it becomes a good nutrient to the crop. Yeah.
Great. Well, we'll be keeping in touch and seeing how this progresses, and I'm very inspired. And I also want to say Milner's been a mentor in farming to me. He learned Foundations for Farming at heart and maybe some other things, but I've learned very much from him as an experienced farmer, and had the privilege to have him here. And if you had any, what do you think you could recommend to Florida gardeners? Things from the Foundations for Farming method, like what are some things Florida gardeners might benefit from to implement, like mulch, maybe applying fertilizer very carefully, things like this?
Yes, in Florida, I see the soil is not very good, so I can say they need to improve their soil by making compost. Yeah, it's very important, making compost and using maybe animal manure, chicken manure to their soil.
Yeah.
And also they need to have mulch also. This will help them have good crop.
Because our climate's pretty similar. So the burning sun is the same problem here.
The burning sun, like this time I came, it's really almost same with where I come from.
Yeah.
So mulching will help also.
Yeah. Well, you've been making an impact on Florida too. You planted 100 trees in the last few weeks, or 150 trees?
150 trees I've planted.
Yeah. Nice. A lot of fruit trees and eucalyptus.
Yes. And they're doing very well. They're coming up. You saw them.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm sure in a few years' time they'll grow. They'll have citrus and yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Glad.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. Hope this was informational for people.